Hi, everyone. Welcome to Reputation Matters, the follow-up course to the Demand Force lecture that we did at this year's CVC in Kansas. My name is Bash Hallow. I'm a certified veterinary practice manager and licensed veterinary technician and a partner with Hallow Tassava Consulting, and I'll be your instructor for today's brief tutorial. I want to thank Demand Force for making this follow-up education possible. As a reminder, at the end of the entire course, you'll be able to print out a certificate of continuing education that can be used for your certification as a veterinary practice manager or your recertification as a practice manager. In today's lecture, I'm just going to cover the 5 qualifying aspects of online presence, and then we'll finish with a brief quiz that will help you remember the information that we discussed. The first qualifying aspect of online presence is whether or not you're visible at all. This is an image of what we call the top fold of the page. It's the most valuable piece of real estate online. And if you're a practice manager or practice owner that's thinking about improving your presence, then getting into this position online should be a definite goal of yours. For it's very unlikely that if you're not shown in this top fold of the page, that a client is going to scroll down and find you, and it's probably very unlikely that they would go to page 2 or page 3 and try to find you. Identity also qualifies your online presence. You don't want to just have a placeholder, or as this poor practice looks like, just an index card representing that you exist online. You want to make sure that if you spend all the time making sure that people find you, that they understand who you are and how you distinguish yourself from all of the rest of the veterinary practices that are listed. I like to think of this particular page as almost a yearbook snapshot of all the students that live in the school. This poor fellow didn't show up on the day that the photographer was there. So they just had a placeholder in the yearbook that said maybe shy or shy. Don't be the shy person online. Make sure that your practice's presence online is reflected by pictures of those people that work in your building, your mission statement, the building itself, and all of the good things that happen inside. If you're thinking about online presence, it just doesn't matter what you are saying about you. You should also think about what other people are saying about you. And we'll talk a lot about online reputation in the later units that follow. If online reputation is what other people are saying about you in the past, then engagement is what people are saying about you and to you in the present time. This is a snapshot of Guilford Jamestown Veterinary Hospital's Facebook page. They have 47,000, almost 48,000 people who have liked the page and who are regularly seeing whatever this practice posts on their Facebook page. The chances that these 48,000 people might interact with this veterinary practice on Facebook is very good. And that's great for this practice because search engines are looking at whether or not people are interacting with the material a lot and sharing it as a way to prove relevance. If you have a chance after the course, take a look at the Bangor Humane Society Facebook page. This is an excellent example of a practice that is regularly engaging its clients in a dialogue about what's happening at the Humane Society, responding to the comments that they make, and also be sure to check out all of those shares. That's really critical to capturing the attention of the search engines. The last and probably most important part about online presence is citation. Citation is important for 2 reasons. Firstly, it allows the search engines to sort of understand how valuable your information is, how valuable you are as an entity. And it's determining that by saying to itself, well, if this practice is cited by a lot of other notable websites and blogs and other sources of information online, then the content and what these people have to say for themselves must be important. So as we move forward with trying to improve your online presence, we're going to talk about something called links, backlinking, and forward links, which are ways, the entities that you are citing in your website and the other entities that are out there that are citing your website as a way of building and proving a case to the search engines that you are a relevant entity online. Citation is also important because it helps Google understand what you're about. And I put together these two searches for you so that I could demonstrate a little bit more about what I'm talking about. So in this search, I type in, I have a dream. And Google is showing me results for Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech, because it is rightfully identifying that I am interested in Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. However, if I type in, I have a dream each night, Google does not show me Martin Luther King's speech, but starts to give me pages that have to deal with dream interpretation. How is it that Google knows that? Well, Google doesn't read. What Google is looking at is it's looking at the links that lead out of these web pages to other websites, as it did in the solutions that it offered on the previous page. And it's determining based on that linkage what these websites are about. So it's able to know that when I type in, I have a dream, I probably mean Martin Luther King's speech. But when I have a dream each night, I'm probably looking for something that has to do with dream interpretation. Citation is a way that Google understands what websites are about and what they are relevant to. So as a recap, we talked about the 5 important ingredients of online presence. You want to be visible. You want to make sure that it's clear to whomever finds you online what your identity is. You want to be concerned about what people have said about you in terms of your online reputation, and what people are saying about you in the present in terms of whether or not you're engaging them in a dialogue, and whether or not they believe that what you're talking about is important because they're sharing it. And lastly, we want to think about citation. Who else in the whole web universe is talking about us and citing us as an important source for veterinary medicine? And who are we citing as important sources for additional information for the things that we're talking about? I hope that was helpful. I'd now like to invite you to take a quick quiz so that we can move on to the next unit.